Hello, this is going to be another boring video, I have to warn you. This is going to be a video about adding equity bridge loans to Excel. Come to my classes, they're not so boring because we talk about handbags and stuff like that. Okay, so let's see what we do. Now, I've got some background problems here too, so please ignore it if I start screaming. Um, the to add an equity bridge loan, here's the way an equity bridge loan works. You basically finance the equity during construction. So I'm going up and down a little in my video, in my computer here, but we have some equity funding. And instead of taking this money out of your pocket, you go and get a loan for this equity money. And then eventually you hit the commercial operation date. And I've heard of some equity loans, bridge loans, where maybe you got to pay back the loan at the commercial operation date. Suppose you could theoretically pay it any other time. I mean, and look at this. I have negative equity funding because we had so much. Let's use a medium kind of case here. We even in that case had some negative equity funding, but that's probably not really going to happen. I'm going to leave it in our model anyway. Now, what do I have here for issues? For me, the biggest issue in equity uh, bridge loans is whether the IRR is real. And what I mean by that, IRR comes from some kind of parent guarantee. If you didn't have some kind of parent saying, I'm going to pay back this loan, I don't think many banks would make that loan. So it's got some kind of parent guarantee. The second issue is whether equity bridge uh, loan should be part of the project finance. And let me try to explain what I mean by that. Okay. Now, here's what I mean by that. Here's our scenario. There are scenarios. If the IDC, equity bridge loan, is going to have some IDC, should the equity bridge loan IDC be included in the project cost? And if it is, let's start with no pre-operation cash flow. If the equity loan, then we get a higher cost of the project just because of the interest on the equity bridge loan. We get a higher project cost, we get higher debt, we get lower equity. It's kind of an obvious circular reference that's giving me the willies. But if we just consider it a separate loan, separate and apart from anything else, then just a loan to the parent company to fund the equity from the parent company, then it's then it doesn't increase the cost of the project, and it doesn't increase the debt, and it doesn't change the equity. Now that's the way we'll model it first, and we'll set up some inputs for the equity bridge loan. Okay, and The first one is, I'm going to call this include the equity bridge loan in the project. Now I understand that's how it's typically accounted for, or typically measured. Now, if it is part of the project, in addition to affecting some IDC right here, we'll just set up some of the title, uh, just so you really see how that works. So you can see that that's going to increase the project cost. In addition to doing that, it would affect somewhere down here. And did I make this one does have a balance sheet balances even, okay. Well, when I did the balance sheet sometime, and when you make this balance sheet this time, part of the fees in IDC we would put capitalized. We would put IDC, I don't care, IDC depreciation on the equity bridge loan. So we have it. So in addition to affecting the cost of the project, the debt on the project, it affects the tax shield on the project like other debt. Now, if we put false in here, okay, then we're going to just assume that it's outside of the project. Now, conceptually, of course, I'm a conservative old curmudgeon, and I believe that it probably should be outside of the project cost. But I think the accountants allow it to be in the project cost. Okay. Equity EBL in project. So maybe this is a moot issue. Maybe it's not a really exciting issue for you, but the idea, I want to illustrate the idea of this whole issue. Okay, and so let's move this to another place. Okay, and then now let's put the interest rate. Now, the interest rate these days, at least, and I don't know, I'm sure this video will be watched 20 years from now, ha ha ha, but these days the interest rate might be really, really low on an equity bridge loan, and if you have a parental guarantee, it might be even lower. I'm going to make it a 1.7% interest. I don't know why I picked that, but dramatically lower than the interest you have on the other loans. Okay, and I suppose you will capitalize the interest. That's kind of easy, and I don't think we have to do much else. Okay, and I suppose this one, in this scenario, we don't have any pre-commercial cash flows. So one way to do this is just to go down to the equity cash flows and start working with those. Since it might be included in the project cost, though, let's make a separate just before this. What was this? Opening balance, add construction funding. Oh, this is the DSRA account. Look at this. I don't even know what this one is. Okay. Okay. And, you know, my spreadsheets really need to be more artistic, don't they? Do they teach you classes in just making your Excel look like pieces of art? I need to take such a class, probably from one of you. And let's now let's add a couple of things here. So now we're going to put our equity bridge loan. Now let's do the easy way first. Okay, and we'll put an opening balance, add draws for equity issue, and then we'll also add capitalized interest. So this makes it really easy. We don't have to worry about paying any interest. And then we put less repayments at COD. Now, we could pay it after COD. We could pay it, you know, the day before the COD. So I'm gonna have us repay it right here. This might be. Should we do it 1 month earlier? I think we should really do it 1 month early because everything occurs at the end of the month. So we could put E date, the COD, and then put -1. Okay. By the way, I don't know. You know, when I first began this model, I had everything monthly, and I switched it to semi-annually, which was very easy to do, really, because we put a defined project date in. Oh, I still have way too many. We have way too many columns, don't we? Maybe we can make this less painful. If we where's the net revenue? It stops here. Uh-oh. Where's the net revenue? Why did I... Oh, no. Oh, no. I didn't put it on the switch. Oh, whoops. Okay, well, shit. Why? Well, okay. This was supposed to go down to 0. And then we're supposed to stop the net revenue after we stop this. I'm going to do that offline. Oh, I'm going to fix the damn thing right now. Okay, hang on. Okay, there was no problem. I'm sorry about that. Getting nervous. Now we'll make the repayments at just right before the COD. Okay, and then we'll put a closing balance. And then we put interest rate, which is a much lower interest rate for 2 reasons. It's got the parent guarantee, and it's got we don't have to do some silly interest rate swap, you know. It seems to be a complaint of a lot of people. So this is per month 0.14. So as usual, we make the opening balance equal to closing balance. Then this is the thing we have to do, is we have to go. Why is this here? Just a minute. We can go upstairs and get the equity funding. I guess that's in the right one. And then our interest is, it says interest rate, but let's call this interest cost. I don't want to call it really interest expense yet because I don't know what it is. Now, for this we just take the opening date when it's equal to this date, we multiply it by the opening balance plus the issue we have, plus any capitalized interest we have for that period. That's really not, it might look kind of complicated, but it really isn't. Okay. We subtract this amount. And so we have some money right at the beginning. We lock this in and we copy this across. Okay. And, you know, just doing this alone hopefully will show us what the effect of the equity bridge loan is. So right up here we have a big repayment, and we can now redo, just go all the way down to equity cash flow, kind of show it as a separate item. Oh, stupid phone. It's noise. I hate this. Okay, and then where am I? We go down, and you know, to really illustrate the effect of the equity bridge loan, let's put one of the gimmicks in. And this is just, we'll just say simply apply equity bridge loan. Okay, now we could do it a couple of ways. We can just show it with and without the bridge loan, but I think it might be better to, let's copy this gimmick up here and just say apply bridge loan. Now, I'm very depressed. I get like 5 stupid. No, you're very good. If you're watching this video, I love you, but I just heard, oh man, if you hear some background swearing and stuff like that, it's somebody, my stepson, who lives in my house, and he's got, oh man, he's got like, what, he puts a video up and he's got like 9,000 subscribers in the first day. God, and I work like hell on all this stuff and I got nobody. What's the matter? Oh my God, it's life. Sometimes it's just crazy. Okay. And so we go to the put the new thing here and press OK. And there, true or false. So if we now we can copy both of these to the top. I'm going a little slow because I'm a little tired right now. And we'll put this true up here. So when this is true, we'll actually draw the loan. If we never make any draws on the loan, then it'll be kind of irrelevant. So we can just I'll lock that in. Okay. And so if we've got the loan set up, and then we've done all the hard part for the equity bridge loan, so it's really, it's like one of these things. The first time I thought, I said, oh, equity bridge loan, it's so complicated. And then once you see these things, you see it's really not that bad at all. Okay, and so if we apply the bridge loan, it's all in here. If we take it out, it just goes out because we have nothing to draw. Now we can put then, when we go to this equity IRR, we can just simply add another line for equity cash flow with bridge loan. Now we're going to run into a bug with Excel, not my fault. EBL, our fancy little word. And then we can put equity IRR with EBL. Now, this time we just take all of our cash flow that we had before, but we get to add back the amount we drew, but then we have to subtract the amount we repay. So and the amount we repay includes our capitalized interest. So without the equity bridge loan, I'm sure I used the XIRR here now, and we simply select the whole thing, and then we go up to this one and press enter. Okay, and we have hopefully the same number. Oh shit. Why is it different? Just a minute. Okay, did I take the, how interesting. When you use the beginning of the period, you get a little bit different than the end of the period. Oh, something I didn't really know. I always thought it wouldn't make any difference. I'm gonna assume we use the end of the period. We could use the average period. Actually, that I suppose is a tiny little bit of an advanced issue that I will put in our structuring spreadsheets, because if we have a monthly, I'm gonna have these problems with IRR that I'm gonna get a lot more emotional about than this equity bridge loan. Okay, so this is now if we apply the equity bridge loan, we get 0. Don't worry. The reason we get 0 is we have to put minus 0.0000001 here, and then we get a little bit higher of a number if we apply the bridge loan. It wasn't really that dramatic, was it? Let's make it something like this. Now if we also make a high thing, then suddenly it gets a lot more dramatic, and that's kind of just like if we put the same dates, which means we have no pre-operating cash flow, but we have a much higher debt leverage. Oh no, it didn't. Now I have to think about why that happened. I suppose this is what I was kind of thinking might happen, but in this case, let's put median. We're we're able to essentially put very, very little money our own, and when we do put our own little bit of money, we're able to push it all the way to the back, so our loan is a little bit less. And I think I didn't make any mistakes on this either. I think it's just fine. Now let's go further, because what we want to do here is on the equity bridge loan, we now don't, when I get the circular reference here, and I will get it, when we get the circular reference, I'm gonna have to put the interest you know, cost and the interest rate, and I'm gonna stop the video and just put the, you know, put it in our function, and I'll, instead of making a whole bunch of mistakes, which I always will, we'll do, we'll, I'm gonna do that without leaving the video on. So if we include this in the project cost, right now it's false. So if we put true, we're gonna make the project cost, we put a sum of the sum of the interest cost on the equity bridge loan here now. Because I'm going to have a problem with this, let me just go back to our equity bridge loan and insert a new line. Let's put the interest rate up here. 4, okay. Shift Control P, Shift Control R, and then take our interest rate and multiply it by the opening balance. Okay, and okay, and now we can capitalize that cost. And I think the most efficient thing for me to do in this video is just to kind of show how it will all work. So we put this in. Now that, I guess, is not a really high interest compared to the others. Okay, so I'm going to multiply this by whether we put it in our project or not. If we don't put it in our project, we take this. Now this total, which I get from the function, is going to have to include, you see we have a difference here. This total will include the, where did okay, I took the sum plus this one, so we need to, please, oh my god, okay, 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 oh god, what's your vote at? Trying to screw up my video. Okay, I'm just going to explain how I put the balance sheet together. Let me show the result of this. When you include the EBL as equity bridge loan as part of the project, then you show the loan and there's no equity, as at least if I have no pre-operational cash flows, then there's no equity at all in the project until you just issue the equity bridge loan, and you have to include all the capitalized interest. I didn't amortize it because I really don't care about amortization in this scenario, but we'd have to deduct that and make a depreciation adjustment for it. Now to get that to work, here I put the tabulated the balance on the bridge loan, and that depends on what we how we book it. And if we book it as part of the project here, I put an adjustment to the equity. So those are the sort of things you could do. I don't know if you know argue about various different accounting techniques, but now let's kind of look at the interesting part. So here, when we include the well, excuse me, I think I'm going to have to make an adjustment here, but if we apply the bridge loan or don't apply the bridge loan, if we include it, let's see how it affects the IRR. Probably has a very small effect on the IRR. You know, if we put some operational cash flows in here and include it as equity, then actually the bridge loan right now, hang on, I better not include it in the project. It's having no effect. Let me finish this up because something's wrong.